There's something special about coastal hikes, especially when the wildflowers are blooming. One of our favorite coastal hikes is the Bluff Trail in Montaña de Oro State Park in California. Montaña de Oro State Park is a stunning coastal park located just 5 miles south of Morro Bay. This park spans over 8,000 acres along the rugged coastline, and the Bluff Trail offers visitors a glimpse of its stunning scenery. There are multiple trailheads that you can use to do this hike, but we will be doing the one on the right side of the road just past the visitor center. From the parking area, you will be heading away from the visitor center to get to the trailhead. If you plan on doing the hike like we're doing it in this video, you can expect an overall distance of 4 miles with 213 feet of elevation gain. One thing that you will need to watch out for on this trail is poison oak. There is a ton of it out here. If you're not sure what it looks like, you can always download the Seek app and it will help you identify it. The good thing is that the vast majority of this trail is nice and wide, so you should be able to avoid it. The other thing you might need to avoid on this trail is bicyclists. This is a mixed-use trail and sometimes they do sneak up on you. Most people take an average of 1 hour and 21 minutes to complete this trail. But we were enjoying the scenery so much that we doubled it. We came in at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
It may be tempting to go to some of these beach lookouts, but be careful. More algae plants right there.
And don't worry if some of these little side trails don't work out, because there is no shortage of lookout points along the way. One of the first spectacular views that we were going to be coming to along the way is of Spooner's Cove. And this little lizard seemed to be enjoying the views as well. One of the best things about this trail is just how easy it is. If you can handle a 4-mile hike, you can probably do it. Even though there is 213 feet of elevation gain, all of the climbs and drops are very subtle and you hardly even feel them. And the other thing is, you're probably not going to feel like you're exerting yourself too much because you're going to be stopping so many times along the way to take pictures. After one last look at Spooner's Cove, it was time to continue on along our way. Not only is this area beautiful, but it is absolutely packed with history as well. While the park dates all the way back to 1965, around 500 years ago, this land was home to the Chumash and Salinan tribes. There was an estimated 20 to 30,000 people living in small villages that stretched from Morro Bay south to Malibu. The land changed hands in 1769 when Don Gaspar de Portola marched his troops north from San Diego to establish new territory for the King of Spain. It switched hands yet again in 1842 when California became a territory of the United States. The land here was mainly used for grazing sheep until 1892 when Alden B. Spooner Jr., as in Spooner's Cove, leased the land he later purchased around Islay Creek. He brought in dairy cattle, hogs, and other agriculture. His 2 sons founded the Pecho Ranch and Stock Company. And if you would have been here back then, you would have seen a bunch of structures. They built a ranch house, a complex of barns, a creamery, stables, sheds, and even a water wheel for power. There were also neighboring ranches nearby, but it was tough to survive out here. This area is subject to flooding and fires. But these guys were tough, and they ended up working the land until the late 1940s. After that, the land changed hands a couple of times until, as I mentioned before, it was bought by the state of California in 1965. There are a couple of spots along the hike where you can get down on the sea cliffs, but please be careful. Those waves can be very unpredictable and they can take you off those cliffs quite easily. While you can stay on the wide main trail, we highly recommend taking some of these little offshoots, as long as they're not too narrow and have you surrounded by poison oak. These little side trails will take you to all of the best views along the way. One of the ones that we really enjoyed was this one here that took us out on a narrow ridge surrounded by crashing waves. One of the things that this trail is usually known for is being able to get down to the tide pools in Coralina Cove. I say usually because at the time of the recording of this video, they were closed. That's too bad because we always loved checking out the tide pools, but that probably kept this hike under 4 hours for us. As we continue on, we will be coming to a bridge. If you've seen enough at this point, you can go straight past the bridge and this will take you all the way back to the parking lot. This is a nice option if you don't have the endurance or if you just want to keep your hike nice and short. We will, however, be continuing on because there is lots more beautiful coastline to explore. And there were also all of these gorgeous orange flowers in this ravine that we crossed over. And you know that I love orange. After we crossed the bridge, we made a right to get back to the coast. We also saw the stairs that went down to the tide pools. They do look like they could use some repairs. Even though the turnaround point is still 0.8 of a mile away, you should be able to start to see it at this point. And on a clear day, you should be able to see Morro Bay in the opposite direction. The trail will now be curving off to the right, and we're going to start getting our first views of Quarry Cove. Even though we weren't able to get down to the tide pools earlier, we did find a way to get some access to the water here. The shoreline is really interesting here because the waves over time have carved grooves into these rocks. While this beach may not be good for a stroll in the sand, it is really cool to see Mother Nature at work. A little further down the coast, there are two really big coves, and I'm surprised these ones don't have names because there are a couple of sea arches here. And you can see some pictures that we got of the arches on our website, livethatadventure.com. Just before you get to the turnaround point, you will come to one more tiny loop. This will give you one more great view of some unseen coastline, and you can see all the way over to an old collapsed sea cave. From here, you do have a little bit of a decision to make. The trail does continue on and it connects back to the main road. You can always hike on the road back to your car. Another choice is that you can hike back the same exact way that you came, or you can take the route that we will be taking. This means that once you cross this bridge, you will be making a right and taking that first shortcut back to the car. Shortly after the fork, you will come to the only restroom that we saw on the trail, and it should be pretty much smooth sailing the rest of the way back. This hike really does give you a ton of bang for the buck. But we would love to hear from you. What are your favorite coastal hikes? Let us know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. Feel free to let us know about ideas for future episodes. And for all the information about the Bluff Trail as well as other awesome California adventures, head on over to livethatadventure.com.